Here he is, a man who has a room full of his big thoughts. It's Andy Jenkins.
Eddie Jenkins. And this is a man who once drove around Omaha, Nebraska in a Toyota Corolla with his shirt off in late December. Crazy. It's Peter Baker.
It's Eddie and Pete.
Hey, how are ya? Welcome. It's Eddie and Pete's award-winning podcast, Cruise Ship Diaries, where they tell interesting and fun stories from their travels. In this episode, we find out a little about how to plan a cruise. Exciting. A little game of play your cards right, followed by a lovely tribute to Queen Elizabeth II. All that, and the top 10 and What's My Age game too. It must be my birthday. Anyway, I haven't brought my keys with me. So we are going to have to go in via the window. You keep lookout, and I'll open the door from the inside. Whew, I'm psyched.
It's a strange part of the job being a cruise director because 90%, would you say 90%?
Yeah, at least 90%.
At least 90% of the job is actually behind the scenes, and yet you are thought of and considered about and judged on the 10% where you are essentially front of house. But there is so much that goes on behind the scenes. As a cruise director, you're making decisions that are for things that are 18 months in the future. And no one ever considers that is part of the job as cruise director. It's a funny job.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's what confuses me. Sometimes I walk out on stage and we have just been talking about the next cruise. We're working 2 cruises ahead. We've just recorded a TV show for tomorrow. We are working in so many different spaces and time that it's difficult to know what's going on tonight, what's going on right now. Sometimes I have to refocus myself on the program to see what we've actually got going on this evening.
You're constantly almost thinking ahead of what's going on, and yet you're planning for everything going on. Because when you get on and have a great cruise, that has to be planned for. That just doesn't happen, and all the departments have to come together because, of course, you have a hotel director, you have a general manager, you might have a captain, and these people are overseeing the entire operation. But made up on the ship are different departments, be it security and housekeeping and the food and beverage team and the entertainment team and security and the guest relations team. There are all these different teams, and they have to work together, and they have to make their own planning to make sure that next cruise and the cruise after that and the cruise after that. And they're constantly learning, but that you have to plan for those cruises. You have to plan for success.
So let's go through a day in the life of a cruise director where you are planning for a cruise. And I was with you. I remember this. It was very funny the way you did it. So first of all, you plan the cruise separately, your own way, with the entertainers that are available. Now, are those entertainers, you book them? Do you book them, or does the head office book them?
It's different for every cruise line, but in essence, what happens is you have a team that support you in the office of each cruise line, and they are looking at the entertainers that are popular and that they want to book, and they are looking to engage them and secure dates throughout the year for them. Because, some of them do solely cruise work, but some of them have land work, some of them have theatre gigs, some of them do West End, some of them do Broadway. And this is a weird thing to talk about, but for some of them, they get more paid better for cruise ships than they do with the West End. They do get more for the cruise ships than they do with Broadway. Nobody talks about this because everybody thinks Broadway and West End is cool, and it really is, don't get me wrong, and it's something that's nice to have on your CV and resume. But there are times when cruise ships will pay more money than the West End does.
And state-of-the-art theatre as well.
Incredible theatres across the fleets of the various cruise lines and cruise ships. And so they will say, what does this entertainer looking to do in the next year? When do they want to be on board? And so normally the cruise directors will work with head office and say, what can I have? I want magic, I want comedy. They want variety, essentially.
Variety. You don't want the same thing all the way through, because you can have a great vocalist, but you need a break from vocalists. You need something else to break it up, right?
Yeah, there's no one thing you want. You don't want 6 female singers. You don't want 6 male singers. You don't want 6 magicians on a cruise. You want a bit of everything. So if you have a cruise at 7, 8, 9, 10 days, in my mind, you would want a little bit of everything to try and keep as many people happy as possible. So on a 10-day cruise, you'd want the resident cast on board to do some shows. You'd want some comedy. You'd want a female singer. You'd want a male singer. Maybe have a group that would sing some Motown, possibly. You'd want magic variety, maybe a ventriloquist or a hypnotist or something.
So you'd put that information out. You'd now see who's been booked for your cruise. And now you've got to plan what night each person is going to be on in order to make that the perfect variety for the cruise.
You've got to try and think about this. I mean, we've had these conversations many, many times about what we're trying to do, because you're trying to feed in the information you have. And don't forget, these entertainers don't stay the whole cruise. If a cruise is 10 days, all the entertainers don't stay for 10 days. You only have a limited amount of cabins where these entertainers can go. Let's say you have 4 cabins and you've got a group on board that take 2 of those cabins. Well, then you only have room for 2 other entertainers. And so they might only stay 3 or 4 days, and then they leave somewhere mid-cruise, and then other entertainers. And the guests the guests sometimes understand that, and sometimes they don't quite see why that happens. Well, it's because you only have a certain number of cabins. There's not limitless cabins.
And you have your own production team as well that put on 3, maybe 4 shows of production cast quality, sort of production show, like a Broadway show or a Cirque du Soleil style show. And so you're putting it all in, and so you take all that information, and then you go to a big meeting called a grid meeting, where you speak to the hotel director and all the heads of department, where you're now trying to match in with the plans for every other department to try and make sure that we are all in sync.
Yes, each cruise line does it slightly differently, but basically there is a planning meeting where everybody's trying to figure out where everything goes, because I understand when people go, why don't you just do this? And it's like, because there's 100 other things that have to fit in, because you've got a certain number of sea days. There are a certain number of things that have to happen on those sea days. And it could be loyalty parties. It could be private events. It could be... There's a bunch of things that have to happen, and you have to slot them all in. And sometimes it seems really obvious, and you're like, why didn't they just do this? It's because there's other things that you have to fit in, and you have to take into account things like sailing times. You know, if you're going to sail at 3 o'clock, that's very different to a night where you're going to sail at 9 o'clock. That's going to create a very different day. And so if you're sailing at, say, 8 o'clock in the evening, and you might have a violinist on that night, and it's been a long day, and you know everyone's going to be hot and tired, do you want to have them come in and watch something easy, or do you want to challenge them with something, or do you want to have them with something upbeat that they don't have to think about? There's all these things you have to consider as a cruise director, and that's the art of the job, really.
I'm going to say since the app on ships has been out, where in the old days you could literally you could choose the entertainment a few days earlier. But since we have an app, as all ships do nowadays, you can look up well ahead of time. Now, people, pro tip here, if you've opened up your app before you get to the cruise line, open it again and refresh it, because there are lots of changes that may be made at the last minute, which you may not realise what's going on, because we have an idea, an outline, and then we may be able to improve on that as we go through and change the order of the shows, or get more, because we want to get a main show and maybe a matinee show in, or another show in the grand foyer. You know, some extra bit of performance for you, get the money's worth and the most out of the entertainment.
The ships, that you're always having to pivot on a ship, because there's always things that crop up, and there's things that happen last minute. And that's the brilliant thing about ship people, is that they just make it happen as much as they can. They think, right, this has happened, so we're going to do this. This has happened, so we're going to do this. The piano player that we thought we're going to get, they're not coming, so we're going to have to do this. And ship people are brilliant at turning around. I mean, the amount of times you get a phone call at 6 o'clock in the morning, say, you know, the weather's gone south on us. We thought it was going to be okay. We cannot get into this port. So guess what? It's going to be a sea day.
Yeah.
You need an entire day of entertainment.
That's a tough day for everybody. Right?
And the team has to kick in and go, okay, then we now have to put a full day of entertainment. What are we going to do? How are we going to keep everybody happy? And that's the brilliant thing about ship people. So that's the thing I used to love things like that. Obviously, the cruise line, whichever cruise line it is, they want to deliver what they've said. Like people used to get caught up in conspiracies about why things would happen. But in general, cruise lines want to deliver what they've said they're going to deliver, because we all want plan A.
We have planned it.
We've planned it. We're ready for this. We want this.
Yeah.
We don't want plan B. We want plan A. So if plan B has to come into existence, it's like, okay, well, we've all got to do this. But that's a lot of extra work.
If you get the 6 o'clock phone call saying you need to put a sea day in, that's a lot of trouble, right? You're tired, you're trying to focus, you're wondering what else you have planned, you can't change your other plans, you've got to add a whole new day into the program. But listen, I went with you to what we call the grid meeting, and it was I found your approach quite hilarious. You would talk about the entertainment program as if you were having a joke that only you got.
It was literally a little bit for me, and no one ever gets it when I do it. No one ever understands the bit that I'm doing, and you've just got to accept that sometimes you're just going to chuckle at your own mirthical things, and no one else will get it.
You do that a lot, though, right? You tell jokes you don't care if no one laughs.
The only thing people seem to laugh at is my face. Mm-hmm. Everything else is very hit and miss.
Yes. So let's run through. Could you just run through a few ways you would introduce some of the entertainment for the cruise for the rest? So let me set the scene. You're in the hotel director's office,
or general manager, whatever they're called.
There is all of the heads of department there, all sitting around, but they're all looking down at their bits of paper of the information about the cruise,
yes.
What's going on here and there.
Yes.
And they say, okay, entertainment and cruise director Eddie, what have you got?
They would say they say, what's your plan for the cruise?
Yeah.
So I might say something like, well, there are some great magicians in the world. You've got David Blaine, you've got Houdini, and you've got Arthur McSpoon. And I'm telling you, next Tuesday, we have got one of those threes. Is it Houdini? Is it David Blaine? Or is it Arthur McSpoon? Guess what? We've managed to get Arthur McSpoon. And then I would say to the next day, think about the great singers over the last 50 years. Barbra Streisand, Adele, or Nina McDougall. You'll never guess what. We've got one of those three. We have got Nina McDougall.
And you would do this, nobody would look up.
Nobody would get anything.
I'm sitting there laughing, sniggering like I am now. Nobody would even look around, which made it funnier. And there was one bit you used to talk about your... listen, on my wedding night, we used this particular performer. You know, not everyone, you're not married.
Never been married, but I would say...
And you would all start and nobody even batted an eyelid. Yeah. I'm not sure what they were doing. But
I mean, like, on my wedding night, I used a wonderful violinist. And
we've managed to get
his name was Ken, and we've flown them in, and they're coming next Thursday. And I would do this all the time, and no one else would get it. And I think everybody just wanted to go for lunch, to be honest.
They wanted to get out the meeting.
Yeah.
It was great. There's so much going on. I don't think people realise just how much planning goes on to just the entertainment, not the cruise itself, just the entertainment.
Huge amounts. And as cruise directors, as entertainment directors, cruise directors, whatever they're known on whichever cruise line, but they are sometimes making decisions for things that are 18 months in the future. Because if there's somebody's trying to plan something and they're like, we need this on this day, and it's going to be 18 months from now, you have to make a decision and try and figure out what the cruise might be doing on that particular day, in that particular port, or on that particular sea day. And you have to make a decision on what's going to go where in which lounge. It always used to blow my mind. Quite often, a cruise director could be dealing with 80 to 100 emails a day, and yet the only thing people are thinking about is that 5 minutes when you're on stage before or at the end of a show. And that would always make my head explode, that's the bit you're remembered and thought about for. But actually, there's so much more that goes into it. It's a fascinating job, and you are really having to deal with budgets and all sorts of people from all sorts of countries, and you're having to deal with head office and stuff. It's such a fascinating role that you are actually having a huge amount of impact on this huge business and for everyone's vacation. I love it. It's a fantastic thing to be involved in, don't you think? It's time for the game that no one's talking about. It's What's My Age Again?
Hooray!
You're playing against Peter Baker.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm good at this game.
Well-
I play with my kids all the time.
I mean, you didn't score anything last time.
well, that was last time.
Okay, so
You're
you're
only
feeling
as good
confident?
as the current one. I'm very confident in this. I've been training since the last time we did it.
Brilliant.
And massaging my brain. I've been working out to ages.
Massaging your brain.
Yeah.
Makes a change from your ego, I suppose. All right, so what's going to happen is I'm going to give you 3 celebrities. You have to guess their age. We're going to add them up. Now, if you get their combined age spot on, you get 25 points. By current scores, I think that's never going to happen. But anyway, if you get within 5 years, you get 10 points. Within 10 years, you get 5 points. And outside of that, you get nada, and nothing.
Fire away.
Your first celebrity for today is how old do you think Beyonce is?
Ah, good one.
Queen Bey.
Ah,
All right.
amazing. Got
What's
all
your
the references.
favourite album?
Well, you know, the early stuff.
Oh yeah, you like it? What, like Destiny's Child?
Yeah, I like all that, yeah.
Okay, so how old do we think Beyonce? What about more recently? What's one of your favourite songs in the last?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
One of the
all
songs off Lemonade, maybe?
Yes, Lemonade was great, wasn't
Yeah.
it? I'm going to go with 47.
47,
Yes,
you're saying?
yep.
47. What do you think if you're playing along at home? Do we think 47 should be higher, lower, or do you think he's spot on with that one? All right, 47 is locked in. Second one is Mark Ronson.
Ah, well.
What's your favourite thing Mark Ronson's ever done?
All of it.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a clue. Mark Ronson is a DJ sort of producer guy.
Yes.
He was the one. Do you remember that
Valerie,
Valerie
yes.
from
Yes.
Amy Winehouse?
Yes.
He was the one that produced that.
Yes, very
Okay.
good indeed.
Which is what, 20 years old now? Not originally by Amy Winehouse.
No?
No, I think it was by the Zootons, the song originally, but brilliant cover version. And, it's a song that dares to be better than the original, I think, that Valerie version.
Nice.
How old do we think Mark Ronson is?
Well, I said 47 for Beyonce, didn't I? I'm
Yeah.
going to go 47 for Mark Ronson.
Okay, you think
Yeah.
they were born on the same
Exactly
day?
the same day.
All right. 47 is locked in. How old do you think he is if you're playing along? All right, and finally, Damon Wayans.
Oh.
How old do we think Damon Wayans
God,
is?
I'm glad this has come up because I love Damon.
Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans.
Yes. So this is, well, Damon Wayans Jr. I'm a fan of as well.
Oh, yeah.
Both actors. Damon Wayans was on SNL, Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
I don't think he was on it for long, but he was also in a TV show called In Living Color, which is
Yeah,
very famous
yeah.
in the United States of America.
Yes.
His son is a well-known actor as well, who was in Happy Endings and various other things. How old do we think Damon Wayans is?
Right,
Damon
well,
Wayans Senior.
A senior. Good. Glad you pointed that one out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going with 57.
57, you're saying?
Yes.
We're locking in 57.
Yeah. You've got 2 47s and 1 57.
So you're all about the sevens
Yeah.
today. All right, then let's see. We'll add those up. So
not as
47
easy to add up, is
plus
it?
47 plus 57 is 151.
That's right.
That's your guess.
That's right.
I can tell you that the actual ages.
Spot on.
So, well, Beyonce, you slightly overcooked Beyonce.
Oh.
She's 44 years old.
Okay, apologies.
So, yes.
Only 3 years out there, not too bad.
Probably upset with you.
I've done worse.
Mark Ronson,
Yeah.
you slightly undercooked that one.
Oh.
He's actually 50 years old.
Okay, balanced it out.
Born in
Balancing
1975.
it out.
But if you were going to get
3
one wrong,
years either way so far, so I'm spot on.
so, and then the other one is Damon Wayans. He's actually 65.
Ooh, that's not bad.
You undercooked it by quite a bit on that
Okay.
one. You said 57. So your combined ages, your guess is actually 151. The
Yep.
actual answer
Here we
is
go.
159.
That's not bad.
So you get 5 points on that one.
5 big ones.
Which is good, seeing as the last 2, you haven't got anything at
No,
all.
but I've started now.
Let's try next time and see if you can get some more pointages.
I bought some jumbo cards, and by jumbo cards I mean they were like A4 size.
They were bigger than that even. They were large playing cards. Instead of the regular size that would fit in your pocket, you bought
Yeah.
some large playing cards.
The largest I could find.
The largest you could find. And, you know, if anybody could find them on Amazon or wherever online, it would be you. Because you are, I think, by all intents and purposes, everybody would agree, a consumer monkey.
Right.
The rubbish, the stupid stuff you buy on Amazon
Thank you.
is unbelievable. And just one day you just showed up with these comedy-sized cards to say, we should play your cards, right?
That does sound like me. Yeah. And so, but we enjoyed it, right? It was good fun. It's only you and me. I would set up, I'd do all the work, obviously, as always.
Yeah.
And you would swan in and host it and have the fun bit, right? And take all the glory.
Yeah. Yes. No, it was great fun. I loved doing it because the weird thing was the rules of the game, play your cards right, are actually quite complicated in a way. So I'm trying to remember how it worked. You basically have a load of cards, and whatever card was the card before, you basically had to guess higher or lower. And the way
Higher or lower.
Yeah, good game. And you basically had to get control of the board, as it were, and to get to the higher or lower bit where you had to turn around, say, 10 cards, and the next card would be higher, next card would be lower. And if you didn't get it, that was it. But to get control of it, you actually had to ask the questions. And the questions, I used to think they were quite amusing. Did you make them up, or were these real questions?
Half and half. So I was just looking right now, see if I've still got these questions. I remember the first one because it's quite funny, right? And you have the first person who's going to have a go is going to guess a number between 1 and 100.
Yes.
And then the second team are going to decide whether it's higher or lower than the first one.
Yes.
And you couldn't help it. Whatever you did, we would always end up doing an impression of Bruce Forsyth, right?
So what's the question?
Well, out of 100 guests we polled, how many said they had forgotten to pack a toothbrush when going on holiday?
And so you would then choose a number.
Yeah,
right, you had to guess.
choose a number.
We asked 100 guests. How many of you said, yes, you did forget to pack a toothbrush before going on holiday? And then the team would go, and they would argue amongst themselves, wouldn't they, the team? It was always great fun to watch them arguing, or not argue, but to debate on how realistically. I mean, I would say it'd be quite low. It would be like, say, maybe 12 people out of 100. And then the other team would have to decide, is it higher than 12 or lower than 12? And of course, the thing to do would be pick a really good number to make it difficult for the other team to go higher or lower.
Yes, that was a clever thing. That's what you're always trying to get them to do, right?
I think it was 12.
17. Oh, and I would have gone higher, you see.
So you were right to go
I was
higher.
right to go higher.
Yeah. We asked 100 prisoners. We asked 100 prisoners.
Yeah.
Did you lie to your lawyer? How many prisoners said, yes, they did lie to their lawyer? And then the team would have to go that. The one that most used to amuse me was the one you did that you made up. I think it was about the tattoo.
If somebody in your family came to you and said they were going to get a tattoo of Eddie's face on their arm,
it was like, would you try and persuade them not to do it?
Maybe, yeah.
And that always used to bring out, that was always very, very funny because people were like, are you joking? Zero. Nobody is ever going to get a tattoo of Eddie on their arm, like absolute madness. And then people would turn around and go, no, maybe they would. And it was always a lot of fun. I love doing play cards, right? I wish it's a shame we can't bring it back. I wonder if we could email ITV or somebody. There's millions of channels on millions of stations now. You think about Tubi and Hulu and all these. Surely one of them would like to bring back Play Your Cards, right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
It is time for the Big Top 10.
The top 10.
What's it going to be today, Eddie?
Today's category is Top 10 Songs by James Taylor and Carole King.
Love it.
I was thinking about this because our good friends Gilly and the Girl are on Marsing and they do a great James Taylor and Carole King show.
Okay.
So I've been thinking about their songs. At number 10, I've got I Feel the Earth Move Under My Feet. Also covered by Martika, but very good song. Number 9, this is controversial, Where You Lead. It was the theme to the Gilmore Girls.
Sing it.
Where You Lead.
Oh, stop.
Number 8, Sweet Baby James. Oh, I know not everybody likes this James Taylor song, but I do. Number 7, also by James Taylor, it's Shower the People. You've got to shower the people you love with love. You know, really show them that you care. Ooh. Number 6, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman.
Oh, lovely.
Number 5, You've Got a Friend. If you want James Taylor and Carole King, you've got it. Number 4, Fire and Rain. I went round for years telling an origin story about this song. Turned out it was completely wrong.
You can't always be right.
Number 3, this is controversial. It's The Locomotion, a Little Eva song done by Carole King, actually.
Wow.
Number 2, It's Too Late. See what I did there? And number 1, You Can't Beat Carolina in My Mind. Because in my mind, I'm going to Carolina. And that's my big top 10 of James Taylor and Carole King. If you've got thoughts, why not send us a message?
The people you meet on cruise ships, the people you work with are incredible. You meet so many great characters that really come into your life and they never leave.
It's one of the joys of cruise ships is the people that you meet. And of course, every set of people coming on ships and leaving ships, they meet their people and everybody gets to do it. But you really do meet some very beautiful people that you just want to throw your arms around them and never let them go.
Absolutely. And we work very close, obviously, with the production cast, the dancers, the singers, the musicians, the entertainers, the activity host, the youth team, and all of the AV technicians. But there's one little team on there that we work with every day, the broadcast team, because we do a TV show every day. And so we get quite close to the broadcast operator and the broadcast manager. And there was one, as there are many who have done great jobs, there was one we got very close to called Ozzy from Venezuela.
Beautiful Aussie.
Beautiful person.
She's the most wonderful person, and she's so sweet, so kind, so lovely. She's got a great sense of humour. Very cheeky lady, and she got the measure of us very quickly indeed.
Always laughing. In fact, there was one point that we used to do that whole routine. We'd say, it's Eddie and Pete, and she would go, and Ozzy.
Yeah.
And so even now, get to be messages that like she's still there. I'd love to work with her again. I know she's still out there. Now, there was one point, and I think she had a real fascination with Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen of England. And when she found out I was from Windsor, and when I was going home, she asked me if I would take a letter from her. She's from Venezuela.
Yes.
And a fascination with Queen Elizabeth II. And she had even her Facebook page is Queen Elizabeth II.
Yes.
And she said, would you take a letter for me and post it to the Queen? No, I'd never posted a letter to the Queen.
Well, you've never posted a letter. You
never
could
posted
barely
a
write.
letter.
Barely write.
So I looked it up, and it said, yeah, sure, you can actually write a letter. You could to the monarch. Of course, it'd be the king nowadays. And you just put that on, and it should make its way there. If you put on the king or the queen, and it goes to Buckingham Palace. So she wrote the letter out. I rewrote the letter on her behalf in my way.
That's very good of you.
Thank you. And I sent the letter off. Now, unfortunately, not shortly after that, unfortunately, the Queen passed away. But I did wonder whether her letters could have been in that pile on that nightstand, just as one of her, because she still continued doing those final duties, did the Queen.
Yes. One of her ladies in waiting may be reading it out to her.
She's thinking, I might just reply to that one.
Yeah. Maybe she never got round to it, but maybe she was thinking about doing it.
I did a talk, because I used to do a joke on the very first day we have a daily show, but to give you the inside scoop on this, I have filmed that daily show 6 weeks earlier.
Yes.
And it just repeats it.
It's
right?
in the can. Yeah.
Right.
It's in the
That's
can.
right. And I'd used this joke where I am fifth in line to the throne, and, if anything happens, I may get a phone call kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, this went out, and I forgot all about it, and on a particular day, obviously the Queen passed away. A guest saw the TV Daily Show and was a little bit upset by it. So I put together a presentation in the theatre about the Queen, which I still do today. It's a very good talk and lots of fun. And I'd like to tell you a little story from that talk, if I may.
Absolutely.
Well, and this is a story I looked up, and it was really good. One day the Queen was going out, and she was in Balmoral up in Scotland, and she was going for a walk, if you will, with her close security guard.
Yeah.
And they were going across the grounds there, and the Queen owns all these grounds up there. And as they went by, they came across some hikers, some hikers, yes, who were going across, some Australian, I believe they were.
Yeah.
And so she decided to go across with the security guard and speak to them. So when I said, do you realise this is private land? And they said, you must know the Queen. And she said, well, I don't, but he does, pointing to the security guard. She was, have you met the Queen?
Yeah.
And so they asked if they can get a photograph with the security guard. And the Queen, when she goes out, right, she's got a headscarf on. She's not dressed like the Queen with a tiara on.
Yeah.
She's just dressed as a normal person in her wellies and whatever, walking around. So she takes a photograph of the close security, and then he says, why don't you also take a photograph with this lady? And so they also have that as well. And then I can imagine when they get home and they're showing their friends their photographs, that somebody goes, that was the Queen, stupid.
That's actually the Queen.
Hi, thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did. I think we have a lot in common, don't you? Maybe we could get together sometime and talk more. What do you think?
No one's going to swipe right on you. Leave a review, though. It does help. But if you want to get into contact with the show, email us, eddieandpete@gmail.com. That's all one word, lowercase. It's in the notes for the podcast, actually. You can just get the email address from there. You can also follow us on socials. That really helps, too. It's thefacewebbook.com. We're there. And Instagram, too. But don't forget, all views in this podcast are irrelevant and belong to nobody. This has been a production of Eddie and Pete Productions.